And Dr. Hightower, the last time I presided over a meeting and I did not introduce my better half who is here, it cost me a car. It cost me a car.
Dale did hold the board and we all agreed that that's.
Yeah. It over there. It cost me a car.
Oh, yeah.
I will now call the meeting to order and ask the secretary to call the roll.
Epizena,
Yes.
Barnett. Present. Curtis.
Present.
Guy. Here. Gilbert.
Present.
Hightower.
Present.
Sauger. Simmons.
Present.
Williams.
Present.
A quorum is established. There will be a public questions and comments portion available at today's meeting. It lasts up for 15 minutes, a total of 3 minutes per speaker. Madam Secretary, do we have any speakers?
No speakers today.
Right. We now have a presentation by the SIU School of Medicine. Dean Cruz, will you please introduce our speakers?
Sure. So the SIU School of Medicine has always been dedicated to stimulating interest in careers in medicine and supporting careers in medicine. So continuing education, fellowships, residency, medical school, post-baccalaureate programs, undergraduate programs, high school programs, and even before. Today, the subject is the McNeese Physician Preparatory Pathway Program, high school program. Those speakers will be introduced by Dr. Wendy Wills Elamine. But first, I would like to introduce her, and she'll tell you a little bit about the program first. So Dr. Wendy Wills Elamine is a family physician, a professor of family and community medicine, the associate dean for equity, diversity, and inclusion, and the finest educational strategist in the entire world. Anyway, Dr. Elamine, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Cruz, and thank you all for giving me an opportunity to tell you all about one of our premier programs that we have here at the medical school. The program is called the McNeese Physician Preparatory Pathway Program, and we call this our P4 program. So you'll hear me allude to that over time. This program actually was started by Dr. McNeese about 14 years ago, and Dr. McNeese believed that there was not an achievement gap, there was an opportunity gap. And he wanted to make sure that students had an opportunity to go into the field of medicine and any other health science areas. So I want to talk briefly about some of the benefits of the program. It gives our students that are in high school early exposure to health careers. It allows them to develop skills in different areas that they might apply in medicine. And also it prepares them for their academic rigor that they'll be experiencing when they do go into medical school. But it also helps us with the workforce shortage. It introduces students that might not think about nursing or medicine, an opportunity to come into this area. And also it improves our community health. So I've been the director for the last 10 years, and we have been able to expand from 58 students to now we have 183 students in the program. And in the last 2 years, we had so much interest that we had to start a Saturday Academy. So that's the darker line that you see there. We had 40 students in the first year and 80 students last year. A couple of different things that we do. We have 2 weeks during the fall, 2 weeks during the spring. That's an immersive experience. Our Saturday Academy is actually year round. And then our senior cohort last year, we started doing CPR. So all of those students became CPR certified. So this is us investing in the future of our community, increasing the health literacy, enhancing our healthcare workforce, making sure that they're having the academic enhancement and the rigor that they need so that they can enter into higher education. Last year, our graduating class, every student went into higher education, which we're really excited about. And also the community impact that we had have been substantial. So when we look at who we've been collaborating with, we probably have 6 or 7 high schools, but we also have students that are homeschooled. And the students go through a rigorous interview process. It used to be where they interviewed with one person. Now they rotate through 5 different rooms. It gives us an opportunity to really see who they are, what their authentic interest is, but it also gives them exposure to our medical students and our faculty. So our curriculum is looking at mentorship, didactics. We are a problem-based learning school, so our medical students actually become student faculty and work with the high school program so that they're getting exposure to the critical thinking and the problem-based learning. SIU School of Medicine is probably one of 14 medical schools throughout the United States that actually has a department of medical humanities. So we expose our students to medical humanities as well, and they get hands-on activities. We are starting to work with AI-based cases, which the students love. It's giving them exposure, not just to medicine, but we have nurse educators, so they're exposed to nursing. So we have some students that will be going to SIUE next year and entering the nursing area. Many people aren't aware that our medical school actually has different pathway programs. There's a medical education pathway program. So first year, our students declare that they want to be involved with this track. They follow that throughout the 4 years. But some of these students come back and they teach in P4. You can be a part of the research pathway. We also have a health advocacy pathway, medical humanities, and leadership pathway. And our curriculum mirrors the curriculum that our medical students are in. So develops a bi-directional path. So for example, if our students are studying hematology, immunology, and infectious disease, they get to come into our P4 program and actually teach our students this along with the faculty. So it really reinforces their education. We believe if you can teach it, then you really know things. So some of the hands-on activities they've done, many of our students, by the time they're seniors, they can suture, they know how to draw blood. They do the Stop the Bleed program. They have emergency cases that they learn to do CPR, responded with allergic reactions. We just had a new simulator where we're actually able to teach them how to do deliveries as well. So the mentoring, I think, is very helpful for these students. With our medical students, they have an opportunity to be proximate with somebody that's just 4 years out. It takes about 15 years to develop a physician from their 9th grade year. That's a long time. And so it's an opportunity for our college students to be proximate to the high school students, our medical students to be proximate as well. And you're going to have an opportunity to meet some of these students in a little bit who have graduated from our program. So some of the potential expansion is to look at teleeducation. During COVID, we actually did P4 virtually. So we know that this is a program that can be expanded virtually. This could help with rural outreach. And we're looking at going down further into the middle school and some of the elementary school sciences. So this is our graduating class last year. All of these students entered into higher education. And I'd like to introduce you to 4 of our students who graduated. Our first student is going to be Deja Lott. She graduated from Springfield High School in 2021. She's a rising junior at Spelman College, and she's majoring in biology. We also have Miss Jocelyn Holmes, who graduated in 2019 from Sacred Heart Griffin in our P4 program. And she just finished the med prep program. She's going to be going into SIU School of Dentistry, which we're really excited about. She'll be starting that in a month. Nina Litvak, who is a graduate of the 2019 program. She's actually a 3rd-year student at our medical school now. And our gentleman who is in the scrubs is actually a 2nd year in pediatrics and ran over from the NICU so that he can present to you all. So I'm going to have Deja to come up now and present to you all.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Like Dr. Elamine said, my name is Deja Lott. I am a rising junior attending the illustrious Spelman College, majoring in biology. I am a graduate of Springfield High School of the year of 2024, where I also completed the P4 program. So my mom first introduced me to the pipeline, but I was not old enough to be in the program. So when the opportunity finally presented itself, I was very, very excited to finally grab that opportunity to gain exposure to the medical field. Since then, I was since a young age, I knew I wanted to be a physician. So I took every opportunity of the program very seriously. One of the benefits of P4 was the skills that I developed, including being attentive, detail-oriented, and asking thoughtful questions to deepen my understanding. Those skills have connected to taking courses in college, such as organismal function and form, cellular and molecular biology. The program's hands-on problem-based learning approach has also prepared me for chemistry labs, strengthening my critical thinking skills, and improved my test-taking skills. One of the most meaningful parts of P4 has been the mentorship and support I've received throughout my journey. I've attended several community events where I reconnected with medical students who once led my study groups. Despite their demanding schedules, they've always made the time to answer any questions, offered advice, and encouraged me to keep going. Having mentors who genuinely care about my success has been incredibly valuable, while their support has continued long after I've completed the program. Looking back, P4 gave me much more than academic preparation. It strengthened my confidence, expanded my knowledge of medicine, and connected me with mentors who continue to inspire me every day. I am truly grateful for everything the program has provided, and I know it has played a significant role in my purpose and my goal of pursuing a career in medicine. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be speaking to the microphone. Good afternoon. My name is Jocelyn Holmes. Thank you so much, Dr. Elmi, for this opportunity and for the introduction. It's truly an honor to be back here today. I am a proud graduate of P4 program, class of 2019. Getting into P4 was no easy task back in the day under Dr. McNeese. There was a rigorous application process and interview process. I still remember the elevator speech I gave and making sure I said the magic words, as you said, I want to be a doctor. You didn't say those words, you're not getting in the program. That was the word on the street, so I made sure that I knew. Looking back, I realized that the interview wasn't just about having the right answer, though. It was about showing commitment, determination, and a genuine passion for serving others. I was fortunate to be about one of 20 students selected for the P4 class that year. Nina was actually in my class, so it's great whenever I get to see her. Because our group was so small, we received incredible one-on-one mentorship and lots of support, sorry. I spent countless hours learning in the MCLI, PBL lab, and working through clinical cases, collaborating in small groups, and developing critical thinking skills that have stayed with me long after high school. After graduating from P4, I earned my bachelor's degree in chemistry from St. John's University in New York City. My original plan was to become a physician. So I spent years working towards that goal. I took my MCAT, was like ready to roll. And then my senior year of college, I was like, I don't think I want to do it. Not sure why. I just had like a come to Jesus moment, was like, let me pause and let me think about this. I had a feeling that maybe it wasn't for me. So I took a gap year to work in dentistry. It always interested me. I love the arts. I love being creative. So I took a year to make sure it was something that I wanted to do, and it definitely was. Rather than ignore the feeling, like I said, I took the gap year to be certain. That experience confirmed that I had found where I belonged. I completed the med prep program through SIUC in Carbondale. It was a great program. It was probably the hardest 2 years of my life, but we made it out. I graduated in May. And in less than a month, I'll be starting dental school at Southern Illinois University School of Dental Medicine in Alton. Although my career path changed from medicine to dentistry, the impact that P4 will have on my life is something that will never change. P4 gave me confidence long before I believed that I had it. It challenged me academically and taught me how to think critically and surrounded me with mentors that believed in my potential. It showed me that students like me belonged in healthcare and could achieve goals that once felt out of reach. One of the greatest influences in my life was Dr. McNeese. Seeing a successful Black physician who was deeply invested in the next generation of students was incredibly inspiring to me. He believed in us before we truly believed in ourselves, and he created opportunities that changed the course of so many lives, including mine. Although Dr. McNeese is no longer with us, I truly believe that continuing the P4 program is one of the best ways to honor his legacy. His mission was bigger than any one student. It was about opening doors, creating opportunities, and inspiring future healthcare professionals. Every student who walks through this program carries a piece of that mission with them. I know firsthand how life-changing P4 can be because it changed mine. I will always be grateful for the investment that was made in me, and I hope this program continues for generations to come so that countless other students have the same opportunity to dream bigger, work harder, and discover what they're capable of. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Elmine, for inviting me to speak today. My name is Nina Litbach, and I'm a third-year medical student here at SIU. I grew up in Springfield and had the privilege of participating in the pipeline program as a high school student. I first heard about the program through my mom and thought it sounded like an incredible opportunity. During my time in P4, I experienced what medical school was really like. We participated in problem-based learning, learned how to interview patients, develop differential diagnoses, and practice hands-on skills like suturing and intubation. As a high school student, those experiences made medicine feel real and attainable. P4 gave me the confidence to pursue medicine in college. It helped me understand what classes I needed to take, when I should prepare for the MCAT, and perhaps most importantly, that I always had mentors at SIU who were willing to support me. In fact, on just my second day of medical school, we were asked to take a history from a standardized patient. While many of my classmates were understandably nervous, I felt prepared because I had already practiced those skills many times through P4. Looking back, I also appreciate how the pipeline program challenged me from the very beginning. The application process included an interview, which was my first experience with a professional interview. It gave me an early glimpse into the admissions process and helped build the confidence and professionalism that has continued to serve me throughout college and medical school. Today, I am proud to serve as one of the M3 chairs for the pipeline program. It has been incredibly rewarding to come full circle to now teach and mentor the same high school students I once was. Serving in this role has allowed me to continue developing my own leadership skills while help shaping the experience of future physicians or future students. While watching them gain confidence and excitement about medicine reminds me of the impact this program has had on my own life. The journey to becoming a physician is long and challenging, but the pipeline program made that journey feel approachable, especially as the first person in my family to become a physician. It gave me practical skills, lifelong mentors, and the confidence to believe that I belonged in this profession. It has truly shaped the physician I am becoming, and it has been an incredible privilege to provide that same opportunity to the next generation of students.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to come up here and speak to you. So my name is John. I'm currently a PGY2 pediatric resident here at SIU. I'm from Springfield, and today I have the privilege of caring for patients at HS St. John's Hospital, which also happens to be the same hospital where I was born, which is looking back, it's pretty remarkable how full circle that journey has become. I attended Springfield High School from 2012 to 2016, and during that time, I was fortunate to be part of the P4 program. At that point, the program was preparing to graduate its very first class of seniors. I was in the class of 10 to 15 at the time, and to see the tremendous growth over the years of the program has truly been incredible. To me, the growth means the opportunity for countless more young students to experience the opportunity that P4 had to offer. One such opportunity was being introduced to the problem-based learning through the patient cases that they see, as they are very similar to the cases that we work as medical students here. At the time, it was completely different from any form of learning I'd ever experienced. Rather than memorizing answers, we learned to actually ask questions, identify gaps in our understanding, and think critically about how that knowledge could ultimately help another person. That shift in perspective has stayed with me throughout college, medical school, and now even residency. The program also gave us opportunities that were exciting as high school students, practiced suturing, CPR, lectures, and we had incredible faculty that at the time I did not realize who it was I was talking to when I was making those jokes, but hopefully they did not remember. At this time, there was also so many amazing opportunities to have, including being able to speak with other medical students at that time who looked so wise, other faculty members who seemed so wise. And then also like taking actual mock board exams at the time, which had maybe was a little bit too much for high school students. At the time, it was like, well, okay, so this is what I have to look forward to in the future. But at the same time, it made medicine feel really real. For the first time, becoming a physician wasn't just something I hoped I could do, but maybe it felt attainable too. Perhaps even more importantly, P4 gave me a sense that I belonged to the world of medicine. When I entered college and eventually applied to medical school, I didn't feel like I was stepping into a completely unfamiliar world, especially knowing that the world would be SIU, which I also happen to be going to medical school. I had already seen what students, the space that the students would all be practicing in and all be working in. And for me, that was incredible to see how all the students that I worked with in P4 as a high school student ended up to become physicians, nurses, other healthcare providers in the future as well. One of the most meaningful moments in my journey came nearly 10 years later after I first enrolled in the P4 program. As a third-year medical student, such as Nina is now, I also got to co-lead the P4 program. And I got to see students who reminded me so much of myself and all the other people I was working with. People who were honestly way more motivated and inspiring in ways that I was like, wow, I cannot believe that these are the high school students that are going to be coming into college and hopefully going into the medical profession in the future. For me, it was something that I now know I had the opportunity to possibly mentor other kids who would be the next few, or our future generation of medical providers. To me, the P4 program is much more about introducing students to medicine. It gives them the opportunity to discover more about themselves. It challenges them to think critically, work collaboratively, and develop practical skills. And also begin asking what kind of life and what kind of service they actually might want to do in the future. These are lessons that extend far beyond medicine and also going to be helpful, I think, for all students that are getting that opportunity. Finally, I would be remiss if I did not recognize the late and great Dr. Lewis. He didn't simply create and champion this program, he championed all of us. He believed that investing in young people could strengthen the future of healthcare in our community, and he demonstrated that belief through his leadership, his mentorship, and his example. His vision has impacted countless students, myself included, and I know many of us would not be here where we are today without the opportunities that he created. 10 years ago, I was a high school student sitting where many of these students are now, wondering if the medicine was truly possible for me. Today, I have the privilege of caring for children and families as a pediatric resident. That journey did not happen on its own. It's programs like P4 that help make journeys like mine possible. And I hope it continues to inspire many more students to come. Thank you.
Any questions? I got one question. Is this kind of a, is this pipeline kind of like a mini med prep program like we have at SIU?
Except it's for high school rather than.
Except it's a high school, but I mean,
Instead of graduates of college,
pardon?
different age. Oh, go ahead, Lindy.
I know different, but you can have this pipeline in high school and then go in like the SIU into the med prep program.
Gotta do college first.
Some do, and some of them go straight into school. It just depends. So the high school program, many of these students are going to colleges all over the United States. And then afterwards, when they finish college, they can actually come in and apply to our medical school. But I would say that this program is different in that we're focused specifically on the curriculum that we have in medical school, but we're putting it to a different level for high schoolers to be able to understand.
Good question here, as you're pushing the educational process out virtually, and I'm being a little selfish, any thoughts of moving it out of just Springfield, moving it to, say, Edwardsville?
Who said you're selfish?
I think that one of
Carbondale.
I think that it is a great model.
Say it again.
I think it's a great model. What
Yes.
we found during COVID, when we had to actually turn things into virtually, we were able to put students in rooms, be able to do problem-based learning, get them exposure. We actually sent the suture kits to the students so that they were learning how to suture. So I think that there's a lot of potential for us to go outside. It also just takes an opportunity to get more faculty involved. And because I utilize the medical students, it's also kind of time limited because of that. But I think it has a great potential.
Great program.
Any other questions?
I have a question. How do students learn about the program, and then the growth in the program? Is that due to awareness, increased capacity, both?
I would say both. One of the things that we found after we did COVID, when you're doing things virtually, you can expand things. But then after that, we had to make room for those students to be able to be on our campus. And when we found that we could build capacity, and our medical students come in and they help us be the student faculty. So we probably have 80 volunteers each year of medical students that are assisting and supporting things. And I think that's allowed us to really kind of expand things. But students find out when they're in 8th grade, we actually go out to the different schools, talk to them about that, and then they apply. They go through that application process. But it really has a strong reputation where we have students that are 2nd graders, they're like, hey, can I be a part of this? So I think because you have brothers and sisters that are spreading the word as well.
Okay, thank you.
No questions, but it's an absolutely wonderful program, and congratulations on 10 years. Is it 10 years?
We're on 14 years now.
14 years. And it's amazing that these young people have each other
Yes.
to use as mentors and they're guiding each other. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Got another quick question,
Yes.
if you don't mind. My question is more to the students. So whenever you took the program, has it been noticed that it helps you with like the process to apply for medical schools, like interviews or like, anything like that?
Certainly didn't help or harm the fact that I like knew a lot of the program here. I knew what problem-based learning was. I can speak to that as part of my medical interview process. Also just being able to walk these halls and be like, I know where I'm going and feel comfortable in it in that way. I felt like it gave me a sense of confidence in knowing that like I can belong here and that I've been here before.
Any other questions or comments?
Just a comment.
Yeah.
You're going back to Spelman in the fall.
I am.
Can you please walk across to the courtyard to Morehouse and tell my son to get after it? Get motivated. He is slacking compared to like. I'm telling you. He's all the help he can get.
Is he a freshman?
He's now soon to be a sophomore,
Oh.
but he's not doing what you.
You got your marching order. Okay, again, thank you. Yes, Dr. Cruz?
Yeah, so, hey, we are proud of all of you for sure, and, thanks for being a part of this. Chair Gilbert, I became dean in January 2016, so my first educational presentation to the board occurred in July of 2016. Were you on the board then?
Yes, I was.
Thought you were, as a matter of fact, so
Yes,
you were
I
at
was.
that presentation. Paula, were you there?
Probably.
And me, that's probably everybody in this room, but that presentation was on the P4 program.
Yeah.
It was, and so the graduates hadn't happened yet, they were just happening at that point. And so Dr. McNeese had two of the medical students who were teachers in that program present. So I didn't know that, we set this up and then I was, just going through my files, trying to get things in order for what I'm up to. And here was the Board of Trustees educational presentation in July of 2016 P4 program. It's like we've come full circle here.
That's right.
Well, it's been a wonderful program and Dr. McNeese was a wonderful leader and I'm sure he would be very pleased with what he has started and like said, this thing's gonna go on for generations. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Best of luck to everybody. Okay, now we have a presentation by the SIU System AI Committee, Vice President Gupta. Will you please introduce our speaker?
Thank you, Chair Gilbert. So we'll hear from the AI System Task Force today. The charge the task force had was to evaluate the current ongoing AI activities related to academic degree programs. So that was their focus. To look at AI programmatic strengths on our campuses, to identify gaps, and then inventory and evaluate the AI tools that support success of students, look at any ethical considerations, and then look at identify opportunities to collaborate. So today, the two co-chairs of our AI task force, Mario Hayek, the School of Business Dean at SIUE, and Toby Merriman, the Assistant Director of the Center for Virtual Expression, will present to us. You remember, Chair Gilbert, we went and interacted with Bucky.
Right.
That was at the CVEX.
Yeah.
So I give you the two co-chairs.
Okay, well, you took away the whole introduction. I appreciate that, Garish. So I'll just skip the history. So basically, there was a second part to the charge, right? So our initial charge was in spring 25, right? So that was to do an inventory of where we stand in terms of AI across the system, identify gaps, and search for collaborative opportunities across the system, right? And that report we submitted summer 25, I believe. Based on that report, they reached out back to us and said, you know, can you do a follow-up on this report? Okay, so they reached back out to us spring 26. So what we did over the past, since our initial charge in 25, we got a group of faculty, staff, and administrators from SIUC, SIUE, and the School of Medicine to explore all of this. And what we're presenting today really is an update on where we are. Because the charge, the second charge, was to create an implementation plan, right? It was okay, you presented an initial plan, and now, so what? What are you gonna do with this? Right? So we took this a step further. So our process began with two assumptions. The first one was to collaborate as a system. We needed a common framework of some sort, right? A foundation for the institutions within SIU system. And the second was we had to allow each university within the system sufficient flexibility within this framework. Right? Additionally, we identified three main areas that are significantly impacted by AI. So one is academic programs, two is university operations, and three is research. All right? So this forms the basis of this framework that we have. So goal one sets a foundation, and plus these three more specific goals into academic programs, university operations, and research. So now we're going to dive a little bit into what's been done in terms of these goals. So goal one is the foundation. So what we did is, so we created 4 subcommittees, right? And each subcommittee was tasked with tackling one of these 4 goals. So the subcommittee that was charged with goal one, with creating this foundation, they decided that they needed to create 4 documents. The first of those documents was creating a set of principles. So they created 10 principles, right, that should hold across the SIU system. For example, AI should be used in ways that preserve meaningful human involvement in decisions, actions, and outcomes. Another example, AI should be assessed for bias, inequitable impact, and discriminatory outcomes. The last example, the use of AI should be communicated clearly when it materially shapes learning, decision-making, services, or outcomes. Okay, so these are, and they have 10 of these principles in this document. You'll see approved, what it really means is that it's completed, right? So the task force of these 4 documents, right? The task force completed 3 of these documents, and 1 is still a work in progress. The second document is AI vocabulary, so that we can have a common understanding. For example, what is generative AI? What's a large language model? Agentic AI, AI disclosure, hallucination, human in the loop, and so on. The third document that they created is verbiage for syllabi. Both faculty and students have expressed that there's confusion in terms of what can they do in terms of AI and what can they not do. So we figured it'd be a good idea to have, common verbiage. And this goes from, it's not taking away academic freedom. It goes from, you cannot use AI all the way to we're expecting you to use AI. So there are 4 different categories in this version of that document. The 4th document that's still in draft form is the SIU System Standard for AI Ethics, Data Privacy, Security, and Governance. So what this document does is it defines system-wide expectations while preserving the implementation to each one of the institutions. For example, campuses shall document rules for AI governance. Campuses shall document rules for risk management. They shall define processes to assess ethical and legal implications, right? So it's a list of each university within the system shall, and then fill in the blank, right? So it's a comprehensive document. And so these 4 documents put together, they create this foundation for AI for the system. Or at least that's our proposal. So goal 2 revolves around academic programs. So with this, we wanted to achieve a couple of things. Number 1, we wanted to set a standard for all students who are interested in learning about AI. So a common foundation. Then what we wanted to do was create a system so that they can build on that foundation for example, a minor, right, in AI. So based on these 2 assumptions or premises, okay, this subcommittee, what they did is they suggested starting with an online 3-course certificate, AI certificate, across the system. And that way, faculty from across the system can teach the courses, these 3 courses that are part of the certificate. Then you can have a stackable minor on top of this. So if you have those 3 courses, now you say, you know what, we can add 2 or 3 more courses to that, and all of a sudden you have a minor. For example, right, if we're talking about AI marketing, right, I could get together with my counterpart from SIUC, and we can say, hey, how about if we create 2 or 3 AI marketing courses, the students can stack those on top of the foundational courses, and all of a sudden you have a minor. So I think that it's a relatively easy way. It's beneficial to students, whether they go for the minor or not, they still have the certificate, right? And it encourages collaboration across the system. So if I don't have enough faculty resources to be able to offer, you know, a marketing and AI marketing minor, well, but maybe with the 2 institutions, now we can pull it off. So it becomes interesting. So that approach, it expands opportunities for students. It leverages expertise wherever it exists in the system, and it reduces unnecessary duplication of effort. Cody?
Do you want applause or wait?
Mario is the best co-chair you could wish for. He does all the things you would hate to do on a committee and leaves me with the weird and spicy problems. Great. So you may have picked up our pattern. Goal 1 is stuff you can start on right away. In fact, significant progress has been made. Goal 2, we already have these wonderful committees. Mario brought such wonderful people from Edwardsville. We got people from Springfield and Carbondale on a Zoom call talking together. It's a beautiful thing. It should happen more often. And goal 2 is moving along at a great clip. When we look at goal 3, we are thinking about longer term. These are bigger problems with bigger decisions to be made that need more resources and more thought and planning. So enterprise AI access, what do we mean by that? Well, you've probably all been assaulted by a little button that says Copilot, please use me. And if you tried it, you may or may not have been deeply disappointed. The frontier models are so restricted in this sense that Copilot itself is not that useful. If you get a subscription to it, it becomes suddenly more useful. And if you've used ChatGPT or Claude or things like this in your private life, they seem vastly more capable and faster and give better answers. Well, we can have that within SIU, and we can restrict it to our data lake, our data governance, so it's safe to use on your work document. Right now, you don't want your accountants to use their own private ChatGPT with your budget spreadsheet. That's not cool. And IT will tell you so. But if we were to contract with Claude.edu or ChatGPT.edu and say, none of this can be used as training data. It all stays here in the SIU bubble. And that allows you guys to not only use these tools on your work to automate the parts of your job you hate, but you can actually have these things develop apps to speed up your life, to increase your productivity, and our staff want that. Academic support tools is another dimension to this. AI, having your AI do your homework for you is bad, we all agree. But what if the AI was helping you study? What if you said, AI, prep me for this exam, give me flashcards, challenge me, I want to interrogate you about this course material. When students use AI in this manner, they advance, they do better. There's a recent study, be glad to share it with any of you, that shows that AI tutors have a positive effect because the students aren't using it to replace themselves, they're using it in a healthy manner. And by the way, it has an even greater effect on first-generation college students. You're the first person in your family to go to college, these AI tutors have an outsized impact on you. So we want to look at those possibilities. And then data and predictive analytics. Those of you, if you've ever had to run a department or college or anything like that, you want more information, you want better information, and AI can help with that. But we need to bring it in, of course, a protected and controlled way, or IT will get us. Goal 4 is how will we use this in research? We have a couple different things to tackle here. We have talked about in this committee having a directory of faculty and researchers who are either knowledgeable in AI or want to be and want to work together. And this would be under the SIU umbrella. The 3 cities and any other satellite campuses would be welcome to participate. It would essentially, like Facebook, but useful. It would help people meet people that they want to pursue grants with and do research. I'm sorry. Mario told me don't make it awkward. Collaboration. Again, the recurring theme of this committee is more collaboration. You saw in the P4 program, when COVID hit, the classroom was shut down. What did we do? We taught online terribly with bad webcams and horrible microphones, but we got less worse at it, didn't we? And now we're not so afraid of it. So we really have no excuses left to not collaborate across the cities and campuses more than we used to. There are other barriers, but Mario told me not to change to. So when we talk about grants across campus, we talked about a competitive seed grant program. We won't get into the weeds on it, but it would involve a little money to start, like an avalanche rolling down the hill. We hope it would increase our ability to get federal grant dollars and increase our success rate with pursuing large grants. And also, by the way, it would involve cross-campus teams. So instead of competing with each other, like we don't know each other at all, we get together all wearing SIU shirts and pursue that federal grant dollar. Hybrid research, cloud computing, that's a lot of words you probably don't want to know much about. Basically, the researchers need compute. Compute has become a commodity. You're probably hearing in the news constantly about how Anthropic doesn't have too much computing, XAI has too much, and they're selling it. This is all very, very confusing. Basically, we want to make sure that as an R1 institution, we provide the technology platforms that our researchers need to keep them competitive, not just with grant pursuit, but with the actual work they're doing. That used to mean building a huge cloud cluster on your campus, millions of dollars in many years. We did that. Big Dog is one example of that. And in the future, we talked about a hybrid cloud computing model where you build that because some grants require it. They won't even look at you if you don't have on-site compute of some type. And you need it to do some of this work. But also finding a contractor or contractors that we feel comfortable with for cloud computing, because this world is changing so fast. The world of research, and specifically AI research, is a very fast moving target. So we need to be flexible, versatile. We need to be a little more agile. So that's generally the ideas we've talked about on this committee. And I just want to say that, like I said, goal 1 and 2
We can start on now 3 and 4 longer, bigger decisions, but we can and should look at all of these possibilities. I wanted to bring a quote from a colleague of mine I've worked with for years. He has taught for 15 years. He primarily teaches high-level topics using readings, essay, and discussion. ChatGPT devastated his classroom in 2023, but he has adapted. He has pivoted to using technology and allowing the technology and teaching the way he always did. He told me something profound. He said, my best students now are better than my best students 10 years ago because of AI, because it augments them. And my students that are struggling, it is a temptation to shortcut. And so this technology can augment ability or it can augment atrophy. We know which outcome we want. This proposal, and we'd be glad to talk to you about it at length, is our pathway to a healthy, competent, ethical pivot to AI. Go to the next slide, he said. I definitely do want to thank the incredible cast of characters we have in this group. It has been wonderful to work with all these people. You know a lot of them. And some of these people were dragged into this against their will. They're already pivoting to AI. They're fine. We wanted their help and expertise and experience. And a few of these hate it. Have had a hard time with it. And we brought them in for the opposition view. And they've all been invaluable. And just listening, sometimes I get them in a channel and I just listen to them. And the conversations that have come out of it are profound. Any questions for me or for Mario or Garish? You want to know more? Garish knows how to find us. He's good.
Any questions? I will say from my day job, I've seen the best and the worst of AI. A little humorous, there was a judge on the East Coast that criticized an attorney for the brief he submitted and asked who prepared it, and the attorney said Claude prepared it. So the judge ordered Claude to appear in court, not knowing that Claude was an AI search engine, you know. And I mean, even in just this week, I've criticized an attorney that in the brief was had hallucinations of cases that didn't exist or didn't stand for what they said it stood for. I've told attorneys that AI is a good starting point, but you can't end up with it. It's not the end all. There are pros and cons to it, and used the right way, it is a tool that is going to, especially in the field of medicine, it is going to solve a lot of diseases. But there's got to be some guidance and controls on it.
The legal profession is particularly fraught. My son's an attorney for the Illinois AG in Chicago, and he said, when I told him that quote, he said, this can augment ability or augment jail. You guys are about to experience an explosion. You already are. It's going to get worse because 3 years ago, if you wanted to hire a lawyer, you didn't know who to call, what to do, how to do it. You didn't know if you could afford it. And now the AI is going to tell you, oh, you can file this claim. You might win this, you might not. So you guys are going to experience that. That's going to happen in every profession. Graphic design, it's really going to happen in software development. Everyone who has an idea about an app is going to make one in an evening with $20 worth of Claude credits. I've done it. It's possible. It's super easy. So this is going to have a titanic impact on everything. And it can be positive, it can be a miracle. And it can also be a mess. So this is our best bet.
Let's strive for the miracles. Okay?
Let's keep the miracles and mitigate the mess.
Right.
What are other universities across the country doing to get ahead of this process, such as what?
In many cases,
applaud you for the efforts that you're making.
In many cases, they are making titanic errors, and we are watching closely. In some cases, they're doing great. SUNY had a great umbrella sort of approach to this that we've studied closely.
Who's that now?
SUNY. Vanderbilt, we watched go back and forth about this. Vanderbilt came out in 2023 policing AI. We're going to police it. We're going to detect it. We're going to get you students and catch you doing it. And they went, never mind, that doesn't work. It causes too many false accusations. And he tends to pick on neurodivergence and English as a second language. So we've watched our peers go through it, and we have gone through this too, of course, we all have.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And yeah, and if I could add, most systems tend to stop with our goal one. Right? So what most systems are doing is, they're creating a framework for the entire system and saying, each one of our universities should do this. They should have these guardrails. They should implement this. They should have somebody in charge of AI. They should, data protection, et cetera. They normally don't get into, well, how do we collaborate? But because the initial charge here was finding ways for us to collaborate, that's why we established, we pursued goals 2, 3, and 4, the program's operations and research.
And the last question, how are we bringing on, this is great, by the way, the work that you're doing. Along with other trustees, we applaud you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
How are we bringing on professors and those individuals who are going to be who are working with our students? How are we bringing on them?
So how are we training them?
Yeah, how are we training them, bringing them along as we
Yeah.
are developing
So
this
I
model?
can give you one example from the School of Business. So we sent one of our faculty to Harvard to take a course on how to teach AI in courses. And then what she did is she came back and she did a train the trainers, right? So then she came back and gave those, said to faculty, hey, who would like a class on how to, learn how to teach in this new world of AI? And she did that, I think, 2 or 3 times per semester for a full year. And I know that now she's doing it at the university level at our institution. So we're doing a lot of that. And then we're also getting a lot of training at conferences. For example, I get training every AACSB conference. We've had pre-conference workshops on AI, how to implement AI within our operations and how to implement it within our curriculum. So I almost want to say it's the only thing people are talking about. Because it's also disrupting the workforce. So people are saying, companies aren't hiring entry level anymore. And so they're saying instead of, the hiring to be like a pyramid, now it's more like a diamond. They're looking for this middle management, well, how does a kid, a young person get that experience? So it's impacting everything we're doing. We're running as fast as we can. We don't know everything. We're just learning every day and trying to keep our nose above water. It's just training. I receive at least 2 or 3 trainings a year just on AI.
So Trustee Hightower, this is kind of like the diffusion of innovations theory, right? You're not going to convince everyone to use it, but we make these tools available to faculty and to students to increase AI literacy. So in addition to a lot of the things, yeah.
So sorry, if I can interrupt you. So yes, and I know where you're going with that. So for example, I sent an email out to all my faculty and staff and I said, look, if you would like, I'm willing to pay for the paid version of Copilot for anyone who wants to use it, because it doesn't make any sense if we're just encouraging them to use it. They're like, well, you're not giving me the tools to use it. So you have to give the tools and then you have to do the training. And then so it's this whole strategy. So I've had about 25 people so far say, hey, I do want the paid version of Copilot because Copilot keeps our data safe. It's a Microsoft product. It gives you access to SharePoint, to PowerPoint, to Excel, and all these other MS products. So that's another angle that we're shooting for.
And we use guilt at CVEX. For 3 years, we've been helping faculty redesign their syllabus, redesign your assessments in the world of ChatGPT. And we've had great success with some stuff you might think would be unfixable, like English. English Comp 101 at SIU Carbondale did a pilot last year of a course. You could take Comp 101, the cornerstone of undergrad, and ChatGPT was in the room the whole time. So was Grammarly. And the instructor threw out the old syllabus, redesigned from the start, and was able to demonstrate that he got the outcomes, the required skills to move on, the critical thinking, the reading comp, the things they need. And he's right here. He's leading goal 2 with Mario. So there are solutions, but they take work to find. And bad news for us, we're a super diverse place. We teach a ton of different things. Every course has to find a different solution to dealing with this technology because it has a different effect. Foreign language is completely unaffected. Your final in foreign language is, Greece, come talk Spanish with me for 15 minutes. You either pass or fail, bud. So he can't cheat that way, but other classes are devastated by it. So at CVEX, we like to be the carrot. Mario's trying to be the carrot for his people at Edwardsville too. The stick is reality.
Just let me change a little bit. We're talking about how it relates to a university community. I want to tell you how it relates to the real world. Have been a member of the Mayo Clinic Executive Health for 20 years. You go up there and you go through 3 days of testing, you meet with the physician. They say all these tests are either within the boundaries they need to be, or you're maybe a little outside, you need to do this. This year, they changed it. They said, A1 says, in 5 years, this is what this is going to look like. In 10 years, this is what it's going to look like. And they'll tell you that's not 100%, but they're betting on it. You know that. Well, I thought that was really interesting.
What we've been saying to each other in the language Grisha and Mario and I worked out was, this proposal is about where could SIU be with this technology in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Where could we be? Where should we be?
For clarity, is the minor degree program being offered currently or something you're working on?
No, that's part of our proposal. And again, we just thought it'd be interesting, one, if all of our students who want to have a baseline foundation in AI, they can get the certificate, then we can offer this to any of the disciplines across our institutions and say, hey, we're able to offer this. Are there any takers? Would anyone like to do this? And so then if they're interested, offering 2 or 3 additional courses to the foundation, all of a sudden it's not too much. It's not a big lift. It can be done, and it's a bonus for the student. So that's the spirit. We're trying to find an easy way to do it.
I just wanted to mention one thing quickly. So we're not doing that yet, but, and President Moni's probably thinking of this. So we've worked with NASH, National Association of Higher Education Systems, and we have 500 free licenses to do to do all kinds of Google, grow with Google, but the most popular is the AI professional certificate. So if anyone wants to get basic AI literacy, it only takes about 10 hours to do that certificate. That's open to all faculty, staff, students, even to trustees. And we have campus leads that have been sending out, emails. And the last I checked, I think there's about 50 faculty that are enrolled in the AI professional certificate. So there are a few champions that are beginning to learn, Trustee Hightower. So I'll stop there.
Yeah, that wasn't what I was going to talk about. What I was going to say too, in addition, is that part of what they're talking about is collaboration between the campuses on what they're doing. That does not take away from the fact that each of the campuses is also developing AI-related programming and things like that, and that's also happening simultaneously. And so I wanted to point that out. I will say one thing, and Gretchen, you and I can talk about it later. The seed grant idea and where do you get the money to support this? This may be one where you may have some donors who are actually interested in providing that type of support. It's more one time, it's not necessarily ongoing. And so it's something we may want to talk with the respective foundations about this. Again, you never tell a donor what they want to give to, but I can imagine there's a few who might see this as something they want to support.
Okay, any other questions? Well, thank you very much. It's a very enlightening presentation and it's over my head.
Thanks. Well, come see us.
I set up that 10-hour course.
What do I need to do to live longer?
So Venmo me $50.
You stay here, Oh, sorry.
Okay, next, we're gonna close the meeting to go in executive session. I move to close the meeting to the public for the purpose of considering appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, collective negotiating matters between the university and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees, pending probable or imminent court proceedings against or on behalf of the board, and review of executive session minutes. The relevant sections of the Open Meetings Act statute that allow for the closed sessions are five ILCS 120/2 2 11, and 21. Do I have a second? Been moved and seconded. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Avicenna,
Yes.
Barnett,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Gay. Yes. Gilbert,
Yes.
Hightower. Yes. Salver, Simmons,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Okay. What was the executive session?
So, yeah, yeah.